Hey everybody, Allan Sanders here, and today we're talking about the question, should I join a band? This might seem like a really weird question to ask, but there's actually several different factors that go into that one answer of saying yes or no. And this actually happened to me recently. I was approached by a regional band, and they asked me to play guitar for them full time. And before I could give my answer, I had to ask myself several different questions, and I wanted to share a few of those with you today and kind of tell you my thought process behind that question. So, the first thing you got to know is, what is your long-term music goal? Do you want to play full-time? Are you doing it just as a hobby? Are you wanting to work your way up into a regional or maybe a national touring gig? Do you want to do studio work? Do you want to do your own thing? What does it look like for you? Because chances are some of these are actually doable while you play for this artist. If you want to go out and do some studio work on the side, you could do that while you play with the artist Thursday through Sunday. You can do that all week long and figure out where to focus your efforts. Because if you want to just do studio work, chances are you want to focus your efforts on, networking with different studio musicians and different record labels and things like that. So what is your long-term music goal? And does playing with this artist align with that goal? Once you know that, there's 4 different factors to consider. The first is, how serious are you? Are you really serious? Do you want to do it full time? Do you want to put in the work to make it really good? And if you know that answer, then you can ask the question, how serious is the artist? And if the answer to those 2 questions is not the same, it's going to be a weird balancing act. Chances are you'll get fired, or you'll end up doing a lot of work while the artist sits around and does nothing. So you don't want to get into that situation. So make sure that you're serious, make sure the artist is serious, or maybe if you're both not serious, it'll work out for you just fine. So know the answer to that question. And the second part is, know what the creativity and the style of the artist is. Do you like the music the artist is putting out? Because if you don't like the music, chances are you won't be there for very long. Like, you won't be able to stand it, and you'll just hate every second of it. Now, you could actually use that artist as a stepping stone if you wanted to, if you could stand to play their music for a season, but that's not a great gig to have, I wouldn't think. So know what the style is, and then the creativity. Are you hired to just play the solos they want you to play? Or do you kind of have the creative rights to kind of come in and do your own thing? So know what that looks like before you say yes or no. The next part is, do you have the time to commit to do this? If they want to play every Thursday through Sunday, do you have time to do it? If you have a day job, chances are you're going to have some conflicts. So you got to make sure that you can do it. And there's nothing worse than saying you can do something and then having to cancel, because it just looks bad on you. And then you don't get asked back, chances are. So do you have time to commit? Do you have time to practice? Do you have time to do all of those things? And then the last factor is, does it pay? And maybe this matters for you, maybe it doesn't, but if you value your work, if you value your craft and your art and your skill, chances are you're going to want to be paid. And not every gig has to be a paying gig, but I think most of them should pay well. And so make sure that it pays well. Make sure you know what the pay structure is before you go into it. Make sure you're not going to get gypped and ripped off before you go into it. So if you are good with all of those different factors and all of those things line up, then hey, you're good to go. Go for it. Audition for the band, sit in on a practice, see how it goes, and who knows what could happen. So those are the different things that I think about before I answer that question. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of insight for what you would answer. And hopefully you got something out of this, so I hope you tune in. Again, thanks for coming.